Thank you for being with us on the Feast of St. Marcellus. Our top story tonight, the race for the White House 2024 with Iowa in the rearview mirror for Republicans. The next stop on the election calendar is New Hampshire. The presidential primary is on January 23rd for both parties. But the question is, do candidates Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley have enough momentum to catch up to the big winner of Iowa, former President Donald Trump? Philip Crowther, international affiliate correspondent for the Associated Press, is live at the Iowa Event Center for us now. Philip, great to have you on. So Trump had a record-setting win in Iowa last night. How did it all play out?
Well, it went very, very quickly indeed. In fact, this race was called at 7:31 Central Time, just the 31 minutes after the caucuses began here in Iowa. Why was it called so quickly? Well, because of the emphatic number of votes for Donald Trump in the early counting that happened around this state, but also because of voter intentions that were already known. This led to some rather strange examples of how these caucuses were organized. I'll give you one example of the one I went to in a middle school in the south of the capital here in Des Moines. That's where people were still waiting to, in fact, hear from the representatives of the candidates. They hadn't yet voted, but already the news had come in that Trump had officially won the Iowa caucuses. Now, it's worth mentioning that turnout was pretty low here this time around. There's a very obvious reason for that, the frigid temperatures outside. But despite all of this, maybe also because of this, Donald Trump got that very emphatic win with 51% of the vote. Reason for him to celebrate right here in this Iowa Event Center last night.
I just want to thank you all. This is a very special night, and this is the first, because the big night is going to be in November when we take back our country, and truly we do make our country great again. Thank you very much, everybody.
Well, trailing behind the former president were the Florida Governor Ron DeSantis and the former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Nikki Haley. They didn't do particularly well. They were trailing a long way behind Donald Trump, but it does give them enough votes, enough of a percentage to stay in the race and to keep on campaigning in the likes of New Hampshire and South Carolina, the next early voting states coming up.
Now, Philip, as far as DeSantis and Haley, how are they spinning Trump's win today?
Well, a result like the one last night does need quite a lot of spin to make it look relatively good for these two candidates. Both of them very reluctant, of course, over the last few weeks and months of this campaign to criticize the former President Donald Trump outright. There's a good reason for that. They are afraid of losing the votes that they could potentially gain from him. Now, in what they said yesterday in their election night parties, all of them held here in Des Moines, well, they put that positive spin on things. Ron DeSantis certainly did so. Nikki Haley, the former ambassador to the United Nations, she essentially says that it is time to move on from what looks like becoming a race between two elderly white gentlemen, Donald Trump and Joe Biden. Here are Ron DeSantis, but first, Nikki Haley.
Iowa's always been a pro-Trump state, and we knew that going in. I was thrilled at the fact that we just wanted to come out strong, and the idea that we were able to come out of there strong enough to come into this state was all we needed.
Well, I'm the alternative. I mean, you know, she said that the top two were whoever came in second to Trump in Iowa was going to be the alternative. She said that was going to be her. It was not. It was me. We did that.
One refrain we hear again and again here in Iowa is that there are only 3 tickets out of this state, out of the Iowa caucuses, and it's clear who those belong to: Donald Trump, Nikki Haley, and Ron DeSantis. Getting off at this very early stop of this long race are the likes of Vivek Ramaswamy, but also Asa Hutchinson, the former governor of Arkansas, both of them officially out of the race and suspending their campaigns.
Really quickly, Philip, I mean, obviously Trump had a very strong showing in Iowa, but was there any type of weakness for him there?
very, very few. When you look at some of the numbers coming to us from the Associated Press, one of them is quite significant. Only a third of voters in the suburbs voted for Donald Trump. That might be something that Democrats might want to look at very closely when it comes to the general election. But when it comes to Donald Trump's result here, it's about his strengths more than anything. He did well in the cities, he did well in the small towns, he did well in the rural areas, he did well with evangelical Christians, and he had a very good ground game here in Iowa as well. That means he had a lot of staff here and a lot of volunteers also here in Iowa.
Philip Crowther in Iowa for us tonight. Thank you very much.